Hey, my name is Brent here on Cloudy with the Chance Meeples. Today on the channel, we are taking a look at Australis. We will be heading down under to the EAC, the East Australian Current, and we will be surfing down the EAC, collecting fish, battling our fellow turtles, racing, as well as setting up area control in different coral reefs. Yes, there's a lot going on in this family weight game, but it's not too over the top and it's not too heavy. It's actually pretty light, but I'll get to that momentarily. My final forecast coming up. First, cue the thunder. So the radar overview for Australis, a game all about turtles having area control, racing down the EAC to gain the most points. And they're going to be doing that over a total of 5 rounds, and each round has 3 different phases. Before we get into how a round works and how a phase works, I want to show you that you got 4 different player colors. You got orange, pink, blue, and green, and each player gets a little player board as well as some coral pieces of their color, and each of the coral pieces are of a different mold or different shape. So I found that to be a pretty neat aspect of the production of Australis. But like I said, 5 rounds, 3 stages or phases per round. There's a dice drafting, and then a scoring, and then a battle, and then you reset 4 more times, and then whoever has the most points is the winner. How does this work? Well, there's 5 different colors of dice that you can draft from, and I'll just go through each one of them and how each of them work, and then how how a round kind of works. So anytime you draft anytime you draft white dice, you will either gain points or cards or both. And so if I draft this one, anytime there's dots, those are victory points. I will gain 2 victory points. And then I draft 2 cards. So these are the selection. You always have 6 cards to select from, and they will be going in these slots on your player board. So anytime you draft a card that has a little fish on it, you put it in the section. So this would be the yellow or the white section. Why I'm mixing up yellow and white, I don't know. But this will go into the white section. And then future turns in the game, anytime I would draft a white die, I would gain a fish, as well as the cards. So that's how the white dice work. How do the yellow dice work? Well, you draft these and you gain fish. So I would gain 5 fish. Big fish are 3. And then a small fish are 1. So I have 5 fish, which I'll speak on how these work momentarily. What else can you do? You can draft blue dice. Blue dice will just straight up move your turtle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Further along you are at the end of each round, wherever you're at, that's how many points you're going to get. They will also help you in the battle royale, the dice battle aspect of our competition. I forget what exactly, I think it's called just a competition, but I forget, what it's called. They will help you that. Then you can draft purple dice, and depending on what number it is, you will look for that corresponding section of a coral, and you will put one of your little coral tokens in those sections. And then if you draft this one, you go first the next round, and you also have the big red die, which is valued 4 to 9, purple 3 to 8, blue 2 to 7. But that's how each of these 5 different dice or types of dice work. I will say that as you draft these cards, you'll be putting them into your tableau here, and they will do different things. So any time you activate this one, you get to move your turtle an additional space. Activate this, you get to put a coral beside the section of where your turtle is. So from here to here, I'm in section 3. So then I would put a turtle, or I put a coral there. If I activate this one, I get straight 2 points. You can never have more than 3 cards in any of these different sections, and you can never have duplicates. So I couldn't have, let's say, no, I can have that. There's 4 different cards, and you can never have the same. I can never do this. I can never have 2 of the same under the same color, to a maximum of 3 per color. I will also say that you can get modifiers. If I have this one, I would add a +1 to my red dice roll in that section. But that's how you're drafting cards, gaining fish, moving your turtle, and then placing coral. After you drafted 4 dice, you'll move into the second phase of the round. First, you will look at all the coral spaces, and whoever has the most coral there gains the points. So whoever has the most in section 3 gains 1. Section 4 gains 2, all the way up to section 8. Whoever has the most gains 4 points. Second most gains 2 points. Anytime there's a tie, you look, and then whoever's in the lead will break the tie. Fish. You start with one of these cubes of your own color, and at the end of the round, you can, or in second phase of each round, you can then feed your fish. You can start by feeding a maximum of 3 fish. If you do that, you gain 1 point. But as you move down the current, you'll gain more and more cubes, which will allow you to hold more and more fish. So in this situation, I'd be able to feed a maximum of 10 fish for 7 points, all the way up to 28 points if I can feed 28 fish, but I have to gain more and more cubes, and you gain more and more cubes by gaining cubes of your own color, as well as these gray ones on the track and from the competition. You do your fish, and then you get points wherever you're at on the board. So I would gain another 2 points for my where my turtles. And then we move into the dice battle. At that point, players take all of their purple, blue, and red dice, and they roll simultaneously. So this would be mine. I would have rolled a 2 and a 3, and this player would have rolled 2 5s, so the 2 is out. And then we roll again. 8, 6, and a 4. Well, 8's the highest. This is a 9. 8, 9, and 4, so the 4 is out. And then we roll again, and the purple's out, so this player would win. At that point, they can just take the top one of the gold stack or the silver stack, and second place gets the remainder. So if they take this, the gold stack, just straight points. If they take the silver stack, points and one of those cubes, which will allow them to feed more and more fish. And so you play 5 rounds. You'll be going around this track. Chances are you'll go around at least once. And then at the end of the game, whoever has the most points is the winner. And that, in a nutshell, is how you play Australis. So let's move on over now and take a look at the final forecast. So the final forecast for Australis, a game that has a melting pot of ideas and dice drafting and racing and area control all mixed into one. Let's dive in. That will not be the last pun, I'm sure, about water in this review. But let's talk about components first. I love the little turtles. I love that each player has a different color, a different shape of those coral reefs, because when you play a 4-player count, spoiler, the best player count, when you play at the 4-player count at the end of the game, there's coral reefs all along that racetrack. And yes, that the central board is a racetrack. You gain points depending on how far you are. But you see all these coral reef along the race, along that track, and it just looks really neat at the end of the game. I will say that the little fish are a little bit of a pain in the butt because they're all the same print, but just some of them are 3 points versus 1 point. And so it's not the end of the world, but it is a little bit pain in the butt. It would have been nice to see maybe 2 different color fish, 1 for 3 and 1 for 1. That, and also I feel the cards, like these cards, the engine building cards per se, they're backwards, or they're not backwards. It makes sense. When you go to stack them, you'd think you'd stack them under your player board like this, but then you're covering up the other icon. Whereas if they would have been like this, if you stack them like this, it makes kind of more sense, and then you can still see all that there. Graphic design, it's not the end of the world, but I would like to see that reversed. Let's talk about gameplay. Like I said, this is kind of a whole bunch of different things thrown into a box, into a game, and it seems to work. Everyone I've played this with has enjoyed this game. I like the interesting decisions, the tactical decision making on your turn. Which dice are you going to draft? Are you going to just build an engine really quickly in the game so that for the last half of the game, anything that you do will gain you more and more things? Or are you going to just blitz down that track as fast as you can because you gain a lot of points, but then anytime there's a tiebreaker, the tiebreak goes to whichever turtle is in the lead. And so that'll help. Or do you go for area control with those coral reef sections? They don't gain you as much points, but the dice values are higher, so it might give you a higher chance at winning those competitions. Because those competitions can get you a lot of points. I've seen my latest 4-player game, one player got either first or second in all 5 rounds and ended up winning the game. And so there's a lot of points to be had in that competition aspect. So do you go for those purple area control coral sections so that you have a higher chance at winning that? Do you go for fish? A lot of points can be collected and gobbled up with those fish, because if you're racing down that track, you're gaining more of your cubes. Hopefully you can win at least second place in a competition or two to gain you more cubes. If you get, these just grow exponentially. You start with 1, but, come around 3 or 4, if you can feed 21 fish for 18 points, that could get you the win. Like a fish strategy paired with the blue movement strategy, that can be a viable strategy. So there's many different strategies that present themselves, and each turn you're going to be looking at the dice that are in front of you and decide which is the best one at that time. I like the engine building. It reminds me of that of the game Gizmos, which I really like, where every time you take the fish action, yes, you get the fish, but then maybe you get to move your turtle. Maybe you also get to put a coral reef out, and maybe you get another fish on top of it, or you get 2 points. And so you can kind of curate your strategy as you go. You have those dice modifiers so that whenever you go into that battle at the end of the round, you have a little bit of a modifier. It still is a little bit weird how they have this little dice battle at the end, but it is fun. Just everybody's rolling all their blue, purple, and the one person with the red die rolling it, and you roll a 4 and you're like, please, anybody else roll a 3, something worse than a 4, and then someone does and you're excited, or multiple people roll 4s and you're still eliminated, because multiple people can be eliminated in the same round on the same dice roll. And so if that might be a negative for you, if you don't like the dice roll, the luck aspect of it, that could definitely be a negative, because like I said, I've seen someone win because they got at least one of these tiles on all 5 of the rounds. And so they were kind of behind and they just got like 50 points right at the end of the thing. And so it got them the win. It's a light game. It plays in under an hour. And so just be mindful of that. But I enjoyed my plays of Australis. I think this is like just a neat little family game that presents some fun choices, fun decisions to be made. I said 4 players the best player count. I truly think 4 is the best player count. 2 is actually quite weak because it's just you and one other person. So when it comes down to the battle, each round or whatever, someone's going to win gold, someone's going to win bronze. So it's like, why, if I'm just playing 1v1, why do I want the red die? Because I'm still gaining points. I might not get as many points, but I'm still getting a reward for getting second place. Whereas in that 3-4 player count, specifically 4 player count, those tiles can be spread out between more people, and then the scoring is a little bit more tight. Also, it's really tight with the whole race aspect, because I forgot to show in the radar overview, but anytime you land on a turtle, you just jump forward because there's no ties. Turtles just jump. So you can take a die to only move 3, but if there's a couple turtles ahead of you, you land on the first one, bumps you to the next one, there's a turtle there, bumps you to the next one, so you're gaining more. You can move down the track faster in a 4-player game, which creates a lot more excitement with some of those cards. This one, wherever you're at, you can put a coral reef, so then you can You activate that, get more coral reefs out. In that 8 or 7 section, gain even more victory points. And so there's a lot of fun things going on in this. It's dice, so there's luck of the dice rolling, but at the same time, everybody is dealing with the same luck while they're drafting. But when you battle, you could have you could roll bad and you could lose those battles. So overall, I think this is a solid little family weight game. Plays in under an hour, so I'm giving it a 75% chance meeples. I was quite surprised when I first saw it. I took the board out and everything. I was like, wow, this looks kind of overwhelming. It's actually not that overwhelming. It's pretty mechanical. You roll in the dice, draft, and then score your fist, score where you're at, score the reefs, battle, reset, and it goes pretty quick. Turns are pretty quick, and so yeah, 75% chance meeples for Australis. I think it's a neat little family weight game that's got some fun components, and so yeah, take a look at Australis. My name is Brent. Until next time, grab your umbrella. The forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.